I build houses for a living, but apparently, I can't keep mine from falling apart. The irony isn't lost on me as I sit here in my kitchen at 6:30 on a Tuesday morning, watching my wife Riley practice her victim routine in our backyard through the window. She's actually punching herself in the arm, checking the mirror on her phone, then doing it again. Harder this time. "Grant!" she calls, her voice dripping with that fake sweetness she reserves for when she wants something. "Can you come here for a second?" Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I take another sip of my coffee and pretend I didn't hear her. After 12 years of marriage, I've learned to recognize the warning signs, the overly bright tone, the way she's been staying late at the coffee shop where she works, claiming inventory issues, the mysterious text messages that make her smile in ways I haven't seen directed at me in months. My name is Grant Mason, I'm 35, and I design custom homes for wealthy clients in Denver's suburbs. I'm good at what I do because I pay attention to details. Foundation problems, structural weaknesses, places where things might collapse under pressure. Unfortunately, those same skills make me acutely aware of when my own life is falling apart. "Grant, seriously, I need to talk to you." Riley's voice has that edge now, the one that means she's about to manufacture a crisis. Through the window, I watch her examine her arm where she's been hitting it. There's a red mark forming. She seems satisfied with her handiwork and starts walking toward the back door. Riley Mason, née Patterson, 32 years old, 5'6", with blonde hair that costs more to maintain than my truck payments. She's got this whole cool girl thing down pat, the kind of woman who drinks beer from the bottle, laughs at dirty jokes, and makes other women feel inadequate just by existing. At least, that's the persona she's perfected over the years. She bursts through the kitchen door with tears already forming in her eyes. Oscar-worthy performance, really. "Look what you did to me," she shouts, holding up her arm to display the red mark she just gave herself. I set down my coffee cup slowly and look at her with what I hope is a perfectly neutral expression. "What I did to you. You grabbed me. Last night when we were arguing about your stupid poker games. This is interesting. Last night I fell asleep on the couch watching a documentary about Frank Lloyd Wright. Riley came home around midnight, stumbling and reeking of beer and something else, cologne that definitely wasn't mine. We didn't speak at all. Riley, I was asleep by 10:30. You came home after midnight." Her eyes flash with anger, but she doubles down. "You're gaslighting me. You grabbed my arm and twisted it when I told you I was tired of you caring more about cards than our marriage." I have to admire the commitment to the lie. She's even managed to work up some genuine tears. But here's the thing about being an architect. You learn to document everything. Liability issues, you understand. "That's strange," I say, pulling out my phone, "because I have the doorbell camera footage from last night. Want to watch it together?" The color drains from her face, but she recovers quickly. "You're recording me now? That's sick, Grant. That's controlling behavior." "It's a security camera, Riley. It records everyone who comes and goes, including you practicing your bruise technique in the backyard 5 minutes ago." Now she's trapped, and we both know it. But instead of backing down, she escalates. It's what she does. "I can't live like this anymore," she screams, loud enough for the neighbors to hear. Mrs. Callahan next door is probably already pressing her ear to the wall. "You're abusive and controlling, and I'm calling the police." She storms out of the kitchen, and I hear her dialing 911 from the living room. Her voice carries perfectly. She's performing for an audience now. "Hello? I need help. My husband just attacked me. He grabbed my arm and twisted it, and now he's threatening me with some kind of recording. I'm scared he's going to hurt me worse." I finish my coffee and check the time. 7:15 a.m. I'm supposed to meet with the Hendersons at 9 to go over the final plans for their new house. A 4,000 square foot colonial, with a 3-car garage and a wine cellar. The kind of house that represents everything Riley thinks she deserves, but that we can't actually afford. 20 minutes later, 2 Denver PD officers are standing in my living room. Officer Martinez and Officer Johnson, both looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. Domestic calls are nobody's favorite. "Sir, we need to ask you some questions about an incident with your wife," Martinez says. He's the older one, probably seen this routine 100 times. "Of course, officers. But first, would you like to see the security footage from last night and this morning?" Riley's sitting on the couch, still crying, cradling her arm like it's broken. "He's trying to manipulate you," she sobs. "He recorded me without my consent. That's illegal, isn't it?" "Ma'am, security cameras on your own property are perfectly legal," Johnson says. He's younger, but he's got that look that says he's not buying what Riley's selling. I pull up the footage on my tablet. Last night's timestamp shows Riley stumbling up the front walkway at 12:23 a.m. alone, fumbling with her keys. No sign of me anywhere. This morning's footage is even better. A clear view of Riley in the backyard, checking her phone, then systematically punching herself in the arm while looking in the camera like a mirror. The officers watch in silence. Riley's crying gets louder. "Ma'am," Martinez says finally, "we're going to need you to come with us." "What? Why? I'm the victim here." "Filing a false police report is a misdemeanor in Colorado. You're under arrest." The next 10 minutes are chaos. Riley screaming about how the system protects abusers, the neighbors gathering on their front porches, Mrs. Callahan recording everything on her phone. As they put Riley in the back of the patrol car, she looks at me through the window with pure hatred. "You'll pay for this, Grant," she shouts. "You'll pay for all of it." I wave goodbye as they drive away. "Geez," I mutter to myself. I was hoping for a pizza delivery. But even as I joke, I know this is just the beginning. Riley doesn't make empty threats, and she's got resources I haven't even discovered yet. Her brother Owen, for instance. Owen Brooks, 38, owns a gym called Iron Paradise on the south side of town. Ex-con, drives a souped-up Mustang, and has never made any secret of the fact that he thinks his sister married beneath her. I'm about to find out just how far Riley's willing to go to make me pay. And more importantly, she's about to discover what happens when you try to demolish a man who builds houses for a living. The foundation of our marriage might be cracked beyond repair, but I'm still standing on solid ground. For now. Friday night arrives with the promise of normalcy. My weekly poker game with the guys, Marcus, Steve, and my neighbor Lila. Riley's been staying at her friend Jen's place since the arrest, which means I can actually enjoy my own house for the first time in months. I've got the dining room table set up with chips, cards, and beer. Good beer. Not the cheap stuff Riley usually insists on buying to save money, while simultaneously spending $60 on a single candle that smells like sea breeze and possibility. Marcus arrives first. He's a contractor, built like a brick house, with hands that could crush walnuts and a laugh that could wake anyone. "How you holding up, man?" he asks, clapping me on the shoulder hard enough to rattle my teeth. "Better than expected," I tell him, which is true. The house feels lighter without Riley's constant undercurrent of dissatisfaction. Steve shows up next with a bag of gas station snacks and stories about his latest dating disasters. He's a software engineer, 42, never married, and has the romantic instincts of a golden retriever. Sweet guy, but he falls for the wrong women with depressing regularity. "So I'm on this date last night," he's saying as he arranges his chips. "And she orders the most expensive thing on the menu, then spends the entire dinner talking about her ex-boyfriend's boat." "Did she at least offer to split the check?" Lila asks, settling into her chair across from me. Lila Chen is my next-door neighbor, 34, works in marketing for a tech startup. She's been coming to poker night for about 6 months now, ever since she helped me fix my fence after a storm. She's got this dry sense of humor and an uncanny ability to read people's tells. Also, and I'm just noticing this lately, she's got these incredible dark eyes that seem to see right through whatever bullshit you're trying to sell. Split the check? Steve laughs. She ordered dessert and asked if I could give her a ride home because she took an Uber here. Jesus, Steve. Marcus shakes his head. You've got to develop some standards. We're 3 hands in when my phone buzzes. Text message from Riley. Hope you're having fun. Won't last long. I show the message to the table. Lila frowns. That sounds ominous. Riley's been making threats all week, I explain. Her lawyer thinks she can get the charges dropped if she can prove I'm actually abusive. But you've got the video footage, Steve points out. Video can be edited, Marcus says grimly. My ex tried to pull something similar. These women, they get desperate. They'll try anything. I'm about to respond when there's a loud pounding on my front door. Not knocking, pounding. The kind of aggressive hammering that means business. Denver police, open up! We all freeze. Through the front window, I can see red and blue lights flashing. What the hell? Marcus mutters. I open the door to find 4 officers this time, including Martinez from earlier in the week. He looks apologetic, but determined. Mr. Mason, we received another domestic violence call from this address. We need to come in and investigate. Officers, my wife doesn't live here anymore. She's staying at a friend's place. These are my poker buddies. They've been here for 2 hours. Sir, the call came from inside this house about 20 minutes ago. Female voice said you were threatening her and she was hiding in the bathroom. This is brilliant, actually. Diabolical, but brilliant. Riley still has a key, and she knows my poker schedule. She could have easily slipped in through the back door, made the call, then left before the police arrived. Officers, I'd like to show you something, Lila says, pulling out her phone. I've been live streaming our poker game on Instagram for the last hour. You can see the timestamp, and you can see that there are only 4 people in this house, all of whom are sitting right here. Martinez examines Lila's phone while the other officers search the house. No sign of Riley, of course. No sign anyone else has been here. Sir, this is the 2nd false report this week, Martinez says. Someone's playing games. Yeah, I reply. My wife. After the police leave, we try to get back to the game, but the mood is shot. Marcus is muttering about crazy women. Steve keeps checking his phone like he's expecting his own false police report, and Lila is quiet, thoughtful. She's escalating, Lila says finally. This isn't going to stop with false police reports. What do you mean? I mean she's testing the system, seeing how far she can push before something sticks. Next time she might plant evidence or bring backup. As if summoned by her words, my phone buzzes again. This time it's a call from an unknown number. Grant Mason? The voice is male, rough, with a slight accent I can't place. Who's asking? This is Owen Brooks, Riley's brother. I think we need to have a conversation. Owen, right on schedule. What kind of conversation, Owen? The kind where I explain to you what happens to men who hurt my sister. Face to face. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Iron Paradise Gym. Come alone. The line goes silent. Marcus, who heard the whole thing, cracks his knuckles. Want some backup for that conversation? No, I say, looking at the cards scattered on my table, thinking about Riley's escalation pattern, about Owen's reputation, about the way this whole thing is spiraling beyond what any reasonable person would consider proportional response to a failed marriage. I think it's time I had my own conversation with Owen Brooks. Lila gives me a look that's half concern, half something else. Be careful, Grant. Men like that don't just want to talk. Neither do I realize as I say it. Not anymore. After everyone leaves, I sit in my kitchen and think about foundations again. How they have to be solid enough to support whatever you build on top of them. How they have to be deeper than whatever forces might try to undermine them. Riley thinks she's playing demolition. but she's forgotten something important about the construction business. Before you can build something new, you have to clear the lot completely. And I'm very, very good at my job. Iron Paradise sits in a strip mall between a payday loan place and a shop that claims to buy gold, but looks like it mostly sells disappointment. The gym's windows are tinted black, and the parking lot is full of the kind of cars that cost more than most people's annual salaries, but somehow always look like they're compensating for something. Owen's Mustang is parked right in front, cherry red with racing stripes, and an exhaust system loud enough to wake anyone. It's exactly what I expected from a man who never outgrew his high school need to prove his masculinity to strangers. I'm 15 minutes early, which gives me time to observe. Through the glass doors, I can see Owen working out, or rather, putting on a show of working out. He's bench pressing what looks like an impressive amount of weight, while a blonde woman in yoga pants spots him and giggles at everything he says. Owen Brooks is shorter than I expected, maybe 5'8", but built like a fire hydrant. All shoulders and chest, with arms covered in tattoos that probably tell the story of every bad decision he's ever made. His hair is buzzed short, and he's got that permanent scowl that some men develop when they realize intimidation is their only real skill. At exactly 8 o'clock, I walk through the front door. The gym smells like sweat, rubber, and something chemical that might be steroids or might just be the industrial-strength cleaning products they use to maintain the illusion of hygiene. "Grant Mason," Owen says, racking his weights with more force than necessary. "Right on time." The blonde woman takes this as her cue to disappear into the back room. Smart girl. "Owen, nice place you've got here." He looks around with obvious pride. "Built it from nothing. Unlike some people, I don't need handouts or family money to make something of myself." This is interesting. Riley's been telling her family that I come from money, apparently. In reality, I worked construction summers through college and saved every penny to start my architecture firm. But I don't correct him. Let him underestimate me. "So," I say, settling onto a bench across from him, "what did you want to talk about?" "My sister's been crying herself to sleep every night since you had her arrested," Owen says, his voice getting harder. "Says you've been abusing her for years and she was finally brave enough to speak up." "Is that what she told you?" "That's what happened, and now you're trying to destroy her reputation with fake videos and lies." I pull out my phone and show him the same footage I showed the police. Owen watches his sister punch herself in the arm, practices her victim expression, then make the false 911 call. His face doesn't change, but something flickers in his eyes. "Technology these days," he says finally. "Easy to fake anything." "Owen, you just watched your sister commit a crime, on camera, with timestamps. I watched you manipulate evidence to make my sister look bad." He stands up, using his height advantage to loom over me. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to drop all charges against Riley. You're going to give her half of everything you own in the divorce. And you're going to disappear from her life quietly. And if I don't?" Owen smiles, and it's not a pleasant expression. "Then you and me are going to have a different kind of conversation. The kind that happens in parking lots at 2 in the morning. I stand up too. I'm taller than Owen by about 4 inches, and while he's got the muscle mass, I've got the reach. More importantly, I've got something he doesn't expect. I'm not afraid of him. "Owen, let me explain something to you about your sister. She called the police and lied about me assaulting her. She broke into my house and made a false report to try to have me arrested again. She's been cheating on me for months, probably longer. And now she's sent you here to threaten me with physical violence." "You can't prove any of that." "Actually, I can prove all of it. Security cameras, phone records, credit card statements. Your sister isn't as smart as she thinks she is." Owen takes a step closer, close enough that I can smell his cologne. The same cologne I smelled on Riley the night she came home late. "Interesting. You think you're better than us?" he says. "College boy with his fancy job, looking down on people who work for a living." "I don't look down on people who work for a living, Owen. I look down on people who threaten me in parking lots because their sister got caught lying to the police. That does it. Owen swings at me, a wide right hook that would have been devastating if it had connected. But I spent 4 years working construction with guys who settled disputes with their fists, and I learned to read the signs. I duck. Owen's fist sails over my head and connects solidly with the metal support beam behind me. The sound of knuckles meeting steel is distinctive, a wet crunch followed by some very creative profanity. Jesus Christ, Owen howls, cradling his hand against his chest. You son of a jerk. Owen, you just punched a steel beam. I didn't make you do that. You ducked. Yes, that's generally what people do when someone tries to hit them. He's examining his knuckles, which are already starting to swell. Probably broke at least 2 of them. This isn't over. Actually, it is, because now I have witnesses who saw you try to assault me and security cameras that recorded the whole thing. Plus, if I were to call the police right now, they'd find you in possession of what I'm guessing are some very interesting supplements. Owen's eyes dart toward the back room where the blonde woman disappeared. Bingo. You don't know what you're messing with, he says, but the threat sounds hollow now. I know exactly what I'm messing with. A small-time dealer who thinks he's tough because he can intimidate college girls and his manipulative sister. But here's the thing, Owen. I'm not a college girl, and I'm not your sister. I head toward the door, then turn back. Oh, and Owen, you might want to be more careful about where you park that Mustang. Lot of crime in this neighborhood. Would hate to see something happen to it. As I walk out, I can hear him behind me, still cursing about his hand. The blonde woman has reappeared and is fussing over him, which would be sweet if I didn't suspect she's more interested in his steroid supply than his well-being. In my truck, I sit for a moment and consider what just happened. Owen tried to intimidate me and failed spectacularly. But men like him don't give up after one failure. They escalate. Which means Riley's going to escalate too. My phone buzzes. Text from Lila. How did it go? Better than expected, I text back. Owen punched a steel beam. Seriously? Seriously. I think I'm going to need your help with something. What kind of help? I look back at Iron Paradise, at Owen's Mustang, at the whole sad strip mall full of people making bad choices and calling it living. The kind that requires a good poker face. 3 dots appear as Lila types her response. Then, my specialty. What's the plan? I start my truck and head home, already thinking about foundations again, about what happens when you dig deep enough to find all the rotten supports holding up someone's life. Still working on it, I text back, but I think it's going to be spectacular. Saturday morning finds me in my home office, surrounded by blueprints and coffee cups, planning something more complex than any house I've ever designed. The difference is, this structure is meant to collapse. Lila arrives at 10 with bagels and what she calls her research face, the expression she gets when she's solved a particularly challenging marketing problem. So I did some digging on your brother-in-law, she says, settling into the chair across from my desk. Owen Brooks is more interesting than he looks. How so? Iron Paradise is 3 months behind on rent. Owen owes money to some very unpleasant people, and according to my friend who works at the county assessor's office, he's been using the gym as collateral for loans he can't pay back. This is why I like Lila. She thinks like an architect. Everything connected, every weakness identified. What else? He's been dating a woman named Tina Morrison. Yoga instructor, 28, works at that fancy studio downtown. Except he's also been sleeping with at least 3 of his gym clients, including the blonde you saw last night. How do you know all this? Lila grins. Instagram is a beautiful thing. People document their own infidelity these days. Owen's been posting pictures with different women for months and they're all geotagged. The man's a walking GPS of adultery. I lean back in my chair, thinking. So Owen's broke, unfaithful, and probably dealing steroids out of his gym. And his sister is using him as muscle to threaten you, which makes him an accessory to harassment. What about Riley? That's where it gets really interesting. Lila pulls out her phone and shows me a series of screenshots. Riley's been posting on Facebook about her abusive marriage and her journey to freedom. Lots of sympathy from her friends, but look at the timestamps. She scrolls through the posts. Riley's been documenting her victimhood in real time, posting updates about her fear, her trauma, her brave decision to leave. The problem is, several of the posts are timestamped from times when I can prove she was somewhere else entirely. She posted about hiding in the bathroom while you threatened her at 11:30 last Tuesday night, Lila says. But your doorbell camera shows her leaving Jen's house at 11:45 and she didn't get home until after midnight. She's creating a paper trail. A fake paper trail, and she's not very good at it. We spend the next hour mapping out Riley's lies, Owen's vulnerabilities, and what Lila calls the ecosystem of enablers, Jen, Cassie, and the other friends who are supporting Riley's victim narrative without questioning any of the details. So what's the plan? Lila asks finally. I look at the whiteboard where I've sketched out the connections between all these people. It looks like the structural diagram for a house of cards. We're going to give them exactly what they want, I say. Riley wants to be a victim. Owen wants to be a tough guy. Their friends want drama to gossip about. We'll give them all of that. And then? And then we'll show everyone what happens when you build your life on a foundation of lies. The first phase is information gathering. Over the next week, I become a student of my own marriage's collapse. I document everything. Riley's social media posts, Owen's financial troubles, the timeline of affairs and false accusations, and escalating threats. Lila helps, using her marketing skills to track digital footprints and social connections. We discover that Riley's been planning this for months, possibly longer. The affairs, the false accusations, even the involvement of Owen. It's all part of a strategy to destroy my reputation while positioning herself as the wronged party. She's trying to take everything, Lila says on Thursday night. We're in my kitchen, surrounded by printouts and screenshots. The house, your business reputation, your friends. She wants to leave you with nothing. Then she's going to be disappointed. Friday brings the next escalation. I'm at a client meeting when my phone starts buzzing with notifications. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, someone's been busy. Riley's posted a long, detailed account of our marriage. According to her version, I've been emotionally abusive for years, controlling her finances, isolating her from friends, threatening her when she tried to leave. The post includes photos of her bruises, the ones she gave herself, and a tearful video where she talks about finally finding the courage to speak her truth. The post has been shared 47 times in 2 hours. The comments are exactly what you'd expect. Outrage, support for Riley, and calls for my professional and personal destruction. My phone rings. It's my biggest client, the Hendersons. Grant, we need to talk, Mr. Henderson says without preamble. We've been seeing some concerning things on social media. I understand your concern, Mr. Henderson. I'd like the chance to explain what's actually happening. I think it's best if we part ways. We'll pay you for the work you've done so far, but we won't be needing your services anymore. 3 more clients call by the end of the day. Same conversation, same result. Riley's social media campaign is working exactly as intended. That evening, I'm sitting in my living room, looking at the house I designed and built with my own hands, when someone throws a brick through my front window. The brick has a note tied to it. Wife beater. I call the police, file a report, and clean up the glass. Then I call Lila. It's time, I tell her. Time for what? Time to show Riley and Owen and all their friends what happens when you try to demolish an architect. What do you need me to do? I look at the boarded-up window, at the hate mail that started arriving, at the social media posts calling for my destruction. Riley thinks she's winning. Owen thinks he's protected. Their friends think they're supporting justice. They're all about to learn the difference between demolition and controlled collapse. I need you to help me build a trap, I say. The kind that looks like exactly what they want until it's too late to escape. How do we do that? I smile, thinking about foundations again, about what happens when you dig deep enough to expose every rotten support beam. We give them enough rope to hang themselves, and then we pull the floor out from under them. When do we start? We already have. The beauty of a well-designed trap is that the victims build it themselves. All you have to do is provide the materials and let their own greed, stupidity, and malice do the rest. Riley wants to destroy my reputation? Perfect. Let her commit to that course of action publicly, repeatedly, and with increasing desperation. Owen wants to play tough guy? Excellent. Let him escalate until he crosses lines that can't be uncrossed. Their friends want to virtue signal about supporting abuse victims? Outstanding. Let them double down on supporting a lie until the truth makes them all look like fools. The key is patience. And documentation. Always documentation. On Monday, I do something that surprises everyone. I apologize. Not a real apology, of course, but a carefully crafted social media post that hits all the right notes while saying absolutely nothing of substance. I want to address the recent allegations about my marriage, I write. I'm deeply sorry that Riley feels hurt and that our relationship has reached this point. I never intended to cause her pain, and I hope we can find a way to resolve our differences privately and with respect for each other. It's masterful, really. I acknowledge her feelings without admitting guilt. I express regret about the situation, without taking responsibility for her lies. And I call for privacy and respect, while she's been airing our business all over social media. The response is immediate, and exactly what I expected. Riley's supporters see it as an admission of guilt, disguised as fake concern. Riley herself sees it as weakness. She responds within an hour. This is exactly the kind of manipulation I lived with for years. He's not sorry for what he did. He's sorry he got caught. Real change requires accountability, not empty words. Perfect. She's rejected my attempt at reconciliation publicly, which means she's committed to the warpath. No turning back now. Owen, meanwhile, has been busy making his own mistakes. Lila's been monitoring his social media, and he's been posting increasingly threatening messages. Nothing directly actionable, but a clear pattern of escalation. Some men need to learn respect the hard way, he posted Tuesday night, along with a photo of his bandaged knuckles. Wednesday. Family means everything. Hurt my family, face the consequences. Thursday. Grant Mason thinks he's untouchable. We'll see about that. Each post gets dozens of likes and supportive comments from people who think they're supporting justice. What they're actually doing is creating a documented trail of premeditation. Friday brings the next phase of my plan. I meet Tina Morrison for coffee. Tina is exactly what I expected from Owen's Instagram photos. Beautiful, fit, and completely unaware that her boyfriend is cheating on her with half his gym membership. She agreed to meet because I told her I had information about Owen that she needed to hear. I don't understand, she says, stirring her latte nervously. Owen said you were stalking his sister. Tina, I want to show you something, but I need you to promise me you'll look at it with an open mind. I show her the photos Lila compiled. Owen with the blonde from the gym, Owen with 2 other women, all time-stamped during the period he's been dating Tina. Then I show her the videos of Riley's false accusations, the police reports, the documentation of lies. Tina stares at the evidence for a long time. When she finally looks up, her eyes are red, but her voice is steady. Why are you showing me this? Because Owen's been using you, and you deserve better, and because I think you might be able to help me stop him from hurting other people. What do you want me to do? I want you to help me get Owen to confess to something that will put him away for a while. Like what? I lean forward and lower my voice. Tina, where do you think Owen gets the money for his lifestyle? The car, the clothes, the expensive dinners, because it's not coming from gym memberships. She's quiet for a long moment. Then, the supplements. What supplements? He's always got these bottles of pills and injections. Says they're for serious bodybuilders only. Charges $500 for a cycle. Bingo. Tina, those aren't legal supplements. Owen's dealing steroids. I suspected, but you didn't want to know for sure. I understand. But now you do know. And you have a choice. You can keep pretending, or you can help me make sure he faces consequences for what he's doing. What kind of consequences? The kind that involve federal drug charges. Tina agrees to help, which means phase 2 can begin. She's going to wear a wire to her next meeting with Owen and get him to admit to dealing steroids. Not entrapment. She's just going to ask direct questions about something he's already doing. While Tina handles Owen, I focus on Riley's support network. Her friends Jen and Cassie have been her biggest cheerleaders, sharing her posts, adding their own commentary about what a monster I am, and generally feeding the social media frenzy. The problem is, they don't actually know Riley as well as they think they do. I create a fake social media account, nothing elaborate, just enough to look like a real person, and start following the drama. Then, I begin asking innocent questions in the comment threads. Wait, didn't Riley post that she was hiding in the bathroom on Tuesday night? But there's a photo of her at Martini's bar at the same time. I'm confused. How did Grant grab her arm and leave bruises if the security camera shows her hitting herself? If Riley's been afraid of Grant for years, why are there photos of them together looking happy as recently as last month? I'm not making accusations, I'm just asking for clarification. But the questions are enough to make other people start looking more closely at Riley's story, and the more closely people look, the more the inconsistencies become obvious. By the end of the week, the comment threads under Riley's posts have become battlegrounds. Her supporters are defending her increasingly desperately, while a growing number of people are pointing out the holes in her narrative. Riley responds by posting even more dramatic content. More tears, more accusations, more calls for people to believe survivors. But desperation makes people sloppy, and Riley's never been as smart as she thinks she is. She posts a photo of herself looking scared and vulnerable with the caption, "This is what months of emotional abuse looks like." The problem is, it's a selfie, and in the background, you can clearly see she's in Owen's apartment. The same apartment where, according to other social media posts, she's been staying with friends to escape her abuser. People notice. They start asking questions. Sunday night, my phone rings. It's Riley, and she's furious. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" she screams. "I'm not doing anything, Riley. I'm just sitting in my house, reading the comments on your public posts. You're manipulating people. You're making them doubt me." "Riley, I haven't posted anything except that one apology. If people are doubting your story, maybe it's because your story doesn't make sense. You son of a jerk, I'm going to destroy you." "You're welcome to try. But Riley, you might want to be more careful about what you post. The internet is forever, and lies have a way of catching up with people." She hangs up on me, but I know she's rattled. Good. Rattled people make mistakes, and I'm counting on Riley and Owen making a lot of mistakes over the next few days, because the trap is almost ready to spring, and when it does, the collapse is going to be spectacular. Tuesday morning brings news that changes everything. Tina calls me at 7 a.m., her voice shaking with excitement and fear. "I got it," she says. "I got Owen on tape admitting to selling steroids. But Grant, there's more. He's planning something for tonight." "What kind of something?" "He's going to trash your house. Him and some guys from the gym. He thinks you'll be at your poker game, so the house will be empty." "Perfect. Owen's about to commit breaking and entering, destruction of property, and conspiracy. All while I have advance warning and the ability to prepare a welcome committee." "Tina, I need you to do exactly what I tell you. Can you do that?" "Yes." "Good. First, Take that recording to the police. Tell them you discovered your boyfriend was dealing drugs and you want to report it. Don't mention me at all. This is just a concerned citizen doing the right thing. Okay. Second, stay away from Owen today. Make an excuse, visit your parents, whatever. I don't want you anywhere near him when this goes down. What are you going to do? I'm going to give Owen exactly what he wants. After Tina hangs up, I call Lila. It's tonight. Owen's making his move. What do you need? I need you to call Marcus and Steve. Tell them poker night is canceled, but I need them here at 8 o'clock. And Lila, tell them to bring cameras. The next call is to Detective Martinez. Detective, this is Grant Mason. I have reason to believe someone's going to break into my house tonight. I'd like to request extra patrols in my neighborhood. What kind of reason? The kind that involves my brother-in-law and his friends planning to destroy my property in retaliation for his sister's arrest. Mr. Mason, do you have evidence of this plan? I will by tonight. The beauty of the plan is its simplicity. Owen thinks he's going to catch me off guard, destroy my house, and send a message about what happens to people who cross his family. What he's actually going to do is commit multiple felonies in front of witnesses and cameras while the police are already on their way. At 6 p.m., I start setting up. Cameras in every room, motion sensors on all the doors, and a direct line to 911 ready to dial. Marcus and Steve arrive early, along with Lila and 2 other neighbors who volunteered to help document whatever's about to happen. This feels like a setup, Steve says, checking his phone's video recording function. It is a setup, I reply. Owen's setting himself up for a felony conviction. At 7:30, we turn off all the lights in the house and wait. My truck is parked in the garage, so from the outside, it looks like nobody's home. The perfect target for someone stupid enough to think breaking and entering is a good idea. We don't have to wait long. At 8:15, Owen's Mustang pulls up across the street, along with 2 other cars. 6 men get out, all of them carrying tools that aren't meant for construction. Baseball bats, crowbars, spray paint. Jesus, Marcus whispers. They're not just planning to trash the place. They're planning to destroy it. I dial 911. This is Grant Mason at 1247 Maple Street. There are 6 men with weapons approaching my house. I think they're going to break in. Officers are on the way, Mr. Mason. Are you in the house? Yes, and I have witnesses with me. We're documenting everything. Owen tries the front door first, finds it locked, then signals to his friends. 2 of them go around back while the others spread out around the house. They're looking for the easiest way in, like the predators they are. The back door opens. I left it unlocked deliberately, and Owen steps inside with 2 of his friends. The motion sensors trigger immediately, and the cameras start recording everything in high definition. "Grant!" Owen shouts. "I know you're here. Time to face the music." They start in the living room, smashing furniture, spray painting the walls, destroying everything they can reach. Owen finds the framed photo of Riley and me from our wedding and smashes it against the wall with particular violence. "This is what happens when you mess with my family," he screams at the empty room. From our hiding spot in the basement, we watch the destruction on my phone connected to the security camera system. It's hard to watch my house being destroyed, but it's necessary. Every broken window, every smashed piece of furniture, every spray-painted wall is evidence of Owen's crimes. The police arrive exactly 12 minutes after my call, which is faster than I expected. Owen and his friends are still inside, still destroying my property, when the front door bursts open and 6 officers flood in with weapons drawn. "Denver police, everyone on the ground now." What follows is chaos. Owen tries to run but trips over the coffee table he just smashed. 2 of his friends attempt to escape through the back door but run straight into the officers waiting there. The whole thing is over in less than 3 minutes. As they're arresting Owen, he sees me emerge from the basement with my witnesses and cameras. "You son of a jerk!" he screams. "This was a setup!" Owen, you broke into my house and destroyed my property, I say calmly. The only person who set you up was you. Detective Martinez shakes his head as he surveys the damage. Mr. Mason, I have to ask, how did you know this was going to happen? Someone who cares about Owen more than he deserves warned me about his plan. I'm sure you'll figure out who when you investigate his drug dealing operation. Owen's face goes white. What drug dealing? The steroids you've been selling out of your gym, Owen. Did you really think nobody would notice? As they load Owen and his friends into patrol cars, my phone buzzes with notifications. Riley's been posting on social media all evening, documenting her fear and trauma while her brother was committing felonies on her behalf. Her latest post, time-stamped 20 minutes ago. I'm so scared of what Grant might do to retaliate. Owen's just trying to protect me, but I'm afraid Grant will hurt him. The problem is, Owen's already been arrested, which means Riley posted about being afraid of retaliation before the retaliation actually happened, which means she knew about the plan in advance, which means she's an accessory to breaking and entering, destruction of property, and conspiracy. I screenshot the post and send it to Detective Martinez. Wednesday morning brings the reckoning. Owen's been charged with breaking and entering, destruction of property, conspiracy, and possession with intent to distribute controlled substances. His bail is set at $50,000, which he can't afford because the gym is bankrupt and his assets are tied up in lawsuits. Riley's been charged as an accessory based on her social media posts and text messages the police found on Owen's phone. Her bail is set at $25,000, which she also can't afford. Jen and Cassie, Riley's biggest supporters, have quietly deleted all their posts supporting her and blocked her on social media. Turns out, virtue signaling has its limits when your cause turns out to be based on lies. The local news picks up the story. Social media hoax leads to arrests. Riley's carefully crafted victim narrative becomes a cautionary tale about false accusations and the dangers of social media mob justice. My clients start calling to apologize and ask if I'm available for new projects. My reputation, which Riley tried so hard to destroy, is stronger than ever. But the best part comes Thursday afternoon, when I'm cleaning up the damage to my house. Lila stops by with coffee and news. Owen's gym got raided this morning, she says. DEA found enough steroids to supply a small army. He's looking at federal charges now. And Riley? Fired from the coffee shop, evicted from Jen's place, and according to Facebook, she's been asking people for money to make bail. Any takers? Not one. I look around at my damaged house, the broken windows, the spray-painted walls, the smashed furniture. It's going to take months to repair all the damage, but it's worth it to see the expression on Riley's face when she realizes that all her lies and manipulation and false accusations have led to exactly nothing except her own destruction. You know what the funny thing is? I tell Lila as we survey the wreckage. What's that? Riley spent months trying to take this house away from me. In the end, she just made it more valuable. How do you figure? Insurance is going to pay for all the repairs. New windows, new furniture, fresh paint. When I'm done fixing the damage Owen caused, this place is going to be better than it was before. Lila laughs. So Riley's plan to destroy your house actually improved it? Riley's plan to destroy everything I built actually made it stronger. My house, my business, my reputation, all of it. And what about Riley and Owen? I think about Owen sitting in a federal holding cell, facing years in prison for drug dealing. I think about Riley, broke and friendless, facing criminal charges and a divorce that's going to leave her with nothing. I think about all the people who supported her lies and are now desperately trying to distance themselves from the wreckage. They built their whole plan on a foundation of lies, I say. And foundations like that can't support any real weight. Eventually, the whole structure collapses. So what happens now? Now I rebuild, better than before. As if on cue, my phone rings. It's a potential client who saw the news story and wants to hire the architect who outsmarted his lying wife and her criminal brother. I answer the phone with a smile. Grant Mason Architecture. How can I help you build something that lasts? 6 months later, I'm sitting in my completely renovated house, playing poker with Marcus, Steve, and Lila. The new furniture is better than the old furniture. The fresh paint looks perfect. The upgraded security system would make Fort Knox jealous. Riley and Owen are both in prison. Owen for 3 years on federal drug charges, Riley for 18 months on accessory charges and filing false police reports. Their friends have all moved on to other drama. The social media posts calling for my destruction have been deleted or forgotten. Your deal, Lila says, sliding the cards across the table. I shuffle the deck and think about everything that's happened. About foundations and structures and what happens when you try to build something on lies. About the difference between demolition and controlled collapse. You know what I learned from all this? I tell my friends as I deal the cards. What's that? Steve asks. I look around at my house, my beautiful, solid, perfectly rebuilt house, and smile. The house always wins.